Hello, it's me, Casey from No Problem. And here's everything wrong with this. Welcome back, everyone. This is my $500 1995 Ford Probe base. And like I promised last time, we're gonna go through everything that's wrong with it. And now, in case you haven't forgotten what a good car is supposed to look like. I mean, it's still good, right? It's excellent. It's automotive engineering at its pinnacle. I have brought out another fun example of an automobile just to show you. Let me introduce to you my beloved 2006 Chevrolet Impala. Now, this was my first car, and I would do anything for this car. I love this car. It's taken me many places, and it was and still is a proper car since I've gotten it. So, I mean, for example, the doors, they don't squeak when they open. We have a full, clean interior that smells nice and, quite frankly, looks nice. In the front here, ignore that squeak. In the front here, we have a full interior. Once again, everything is clean, plush, soft. There are absolutely no cracks in the dash. And of course, lots of chrome. Inside of it, it's an engine that runs perfectly fine. It's got an automatic transmission, so you don't have to shift the gears yourself like a poor person. And there's no excess paint or overspray or that much rust as far as I can tell. Oh, and then also the air conditioner works perfectly. Before I forget, you might be wondering, hey, why are you wearing headphones? Well, it's winter in Colorado and my ears are freaking cold, and it makes me feel cooler than I really am. So now, with those things in mind, let's see how the bright green Ford Probe stacks up. Starting out with the overall condition, I'd say it's a Amelia Island A+. There's nothing better than to see the original factory paint. See, that's the most valuable part of most classic cars, to see the original factory paint, and yes, it is still here. Next up, we have 100% factory original interior with hand-rolling windows. Now, this is a feature nowadays because if you want to save weight, just get rid of the electric motors inside the doors, and then there you go, you save some weight. Moving on to the interior, we have a perfectly perfect interior of perfection, complete with some sticky notes the last person had, some plastic bits, some pencils and pens. Oh, what's this? And that is an old floss stick that I don't know the brand of. So, treasures you find in here. A perfectly usable back seat with no rips or tears whatsoever in the interior. So complete, full interior that isn't missing anything. Oh, one thing we are missing here is the automatic transmission because, well, you know, once again, I'm a poor kid, so I can't afford nice things. And, you know, an automatic transmission is just some fancy stuff. As you can see here, the dash is in immaculate condition. I mean, look at those contours. This is something you would never get in a modern car. It just adds to the character. We got some fuzzy dice. We have a totally stock sunroof that wasn't just put in here because the previous owner cut a hole in the roof or anything. Oh yeah, and this headliner, I did this a couple years ago with some fabric I got from Walmart and spray glue. Obviously, I am the most trained technician when it comes to this. So yeah, we're keeping this. It looks good. It looks fantastic. Everything in this car is well oiled and smooth. Oh yeah, the paint. We already talked about the original paint, but let's talk about this slick aftermarket paint job. You can see that it's some unique special factory color in between glossy and matte. And it also has a nice texture to it, you know, once in a while. Also, the rims, absolutely factory with some nice black spray paints on them. They do stay on quite well, so I don't have to worry about a hubcap flying off when I'm cornering at Formula One like speeds. I can't actually tell if the trim was supposed to be black or supposed to be chrome or something, but yeah. The hood is currently covered with what can kind of be described as paint, I guess. It kind of looks like the former lake bed in the middle of a desert. Oh yeah, there's no Ford logo, there's just some flat something here. Underneath the hood, we have Mazda's monster 2-liter F-Series motor. Well, at least what's left of it. This, that's not stock. Someone made that. There should be, like, a lot of plastic here. The radiator moves a lot, like it's not even mounted or something. There's plastic trim just kind of missing it everywhere. Everything is green, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't supposed to look like that. There's covers missing here. It does run now, but it didn't run very well recently. I don't know what that is. We have a cold air intake for all the sports car-y people, or should I say all the performance of this. I forgot to say this in the last video. This motor, I think, either had a 116 or 119 horsepower from the factory, so, you know, perfectly adequate if you want to get from point A to point B sometime within this century. Oh yeah, there's no insulation left on the hood, so whatever heat comes up from the motor gets to burn the paints or what's left of it on the other side. I'm guessing there shouldn't be a hole this big that I could just stick my hand in and get leaves in there, so that's not right. You won't be able to see this, but the car is horribly misaligned. We got new tires recently, but the old tires were just like, there was like a ton of tread on the outside, and the inside of the tire was completely smooth. So there's some negative camber going on, or maybe there's some or the toe is misaligned or something like that, because the car, you have to hold the car straight for it to go straight, and it wears the tires out really unevenly and really fast. I'm not sure you can see this, but the previous owner did install some coilovers onto this car, and this car is actually fairly stiff. What brands? I'm not sure. They could be amazing or could be of dubious quality, which I think they are. So, but you know, it's sports car. It handles even better because of these aftermarket coilovers that are also painted green. One of the cool things about it is the headlights do work. And so we have glorious pop-up headlights. Best thing ever invented. But the problem is they're incredibly misaligned. I mean, like this one points at the neighbors who have upstairs bedrooms when they're trying to sleep at night if the exhaust didn't already wake them up already. And this one points straight at the ground to scare any oncoming rabbits. Then we move to the clutch. Now this clutch is downright awful. It doesn't slip, which is a good thing. And I think this car might have had a clutch upgrade at some point. I'm not actually sure. A normal clutch pedal bites right about there, kind of near the top of the clutch throw, right? But this clutch pedal engages right here. So if you've never driven this car before, you're gonna try to start the car on a hill and then stall it because the clutch engages literally right here. And sometimes, depending on the weather, the clutch pedal doesn't actually go all the way up. So I've gotten in the habit of pulling my clutch pedal up. Whether this is done on purpose or not, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, this thing sucks. There's a little surface rust here and here. I mean, we could keep beating this dead horse, but obviously the cosmetic shape of this car. But what is stellar is that I've looked this car over and through. This body's good. It doesn't have much, if any, rust. Just a little surface stuff here and there, but it's really good. Now, while this looks pretty great, and while I admit it is pretty great, there's a leak. So somewhere over here, somewhere down here, there is a bunch of tape. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bunch of tape holding the muffler section of the exhaust on, and let me tell you, that leaks. And then if you go even further, all the way down here, there is a leak in the exhaust somewhere here. We think it's at the flange at the back of the catalytic converter. The car is super loud in this area. The exhaust down here, yeah, there are a bunch of just metal heat shields that aren't attached properly. So every time it go over a bump, the car rattles like it's an absolute piece of junk. But it's not. It's just the stuff isn't properly attached. Here's some of the tape that I'm talking about that's holding the exhaust together. So yeah, the exhaust isn't in the best of shape. It's seen better days, but the car is not rusty at all, and that gives me a little hope for any future building potential. But the first thing that we need to address, though, is we need to put the center console back together, and to do that, I need to solder a signal wire that goes in here. Then I can go get the car looked over, and it should be roadworthy after that. Time to put on some less beautiful clothes and start working. All right, okay, but before I want to get this back together real quick. Before I do that, there's a wire that's I twisted together and taped up just for the purpose of testing and diagnosing. So on the back of the computer here, so I'm going to I guess, yeah, start this and get this thing all together. Alrighty, my friends, we now have the car all together, inspected. It is road worthy now. I guess the biggest difference that we can see is that the center console is together and that stays closed. And yeah, and so it's clean. I added a ton of weight reduction and made the car a lot lighter by vacuuming it out and taking the coins out of the center console. And yeah, so we're about to start doing things with it and having a little fun with it. So that's all for today. I'm Casey from No Problem, and I hope that you have a good day, but stick around if you want to see some cool music. So see ya, bye.
Dilated when her eyes meet. Keep my focus on the road and go on and on, on and on. Tainted links, it's the wind on me, wind on me. I threw that pitch, and a baseball flies high, and I lose the team, that's why. Megan's so good, go on and on, on and on. On and on, on and on. In the front seat, dilated when eyes meet. Keep my focus on the road and go on and on, on and on. On and on, on and on. Yeah, because when I'm with my friends, I summer never ends. Oh, then I have to sit by the fire and say, roast marshmallows and night. Play games, pretend to fight. This is our run, please bench me. This must be a dream. must be a dream. Let's sing now. When was young to be undone? When was young to be undone? Because when I wear them in my veins, our summer never ends. Open eye to sit by the fire and sing. Those marshmallows at night, they ends pretend to ride. This is our property, fetch me. This must be a dream. This must be a dream. When was young to be undone?